Hey, happy day. Happy day. It is a happy day. It's a happy life. And I'm so glad to be on this journey. I am so glad to be on this journey. Let me tell you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Walking the Path. My name is John Jacob Mubarak, and I am at Rythmia today. I'm at Rythmia all the time. Not all the time, but a lot. And I love it. I love being here. It is such a magical place because I get to be of service. This is one of the greatest things that we can do, is to be of service. And when we are in service to life, life serves us back. When we are in service to life, life serves us back. So I want to tell you a little bit. Today's topic is best case scenario. What is the best case scenario? And I want to talk about this. Hey, everybody, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Joseph. Oh, man, I love you, brother. I love you so much. So today's topic is really about what we say to ourselves about ourselves, how much we say it, and how much awareness we bring to it, and the way that we can really use this governor. It works in two ways, right? What we say to ourselves are sort of govern our self-image. What we say to ourselves about ourselves sort of govern our self-image, and our self-image sort of governs our lives, because it will never let us act in a way that's inconsistent. So what we say to ourselves is really important. So I want to talk to you about that and how we can create through a process of first purging and then expressing a best case scenario. But we got to purge out those old worst case scenarios, empty ourselves so we can become full with the best case scenario. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we go any further, I want to, I'm trying to read what you're saying. Love you too, brother. Oh, love you, man. Thank you. I want to tell you a little bit about Rythmia, this really magical place. I get to be here every week and I get to see where we do 50 retreats a year. 50 retreats a year. We're only closed 2 weeks out of the year. And I get to see this every week. That Monday people come in and they're like, okay, I like that person. There's no way I'm going to talk to that person. And this place is, I'm not quite sure. And then you're a little scared. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, you're like, the wheels are falling off at the hinges. I don't know what's going on. And then by Thursday, people are starting to be like, oh my God, I'm getting it. Oh, wow. And Friday, it's a love fest. And I see it every week in this magnificent way that in 1 week, people shift their perspective so dramatically. They see who they've become. They see the masks that they put on, that we put on, the masks that we put on to keep us safe, because we feel like if we don't protect this part of ourselves that we think is flawed, if we show the world this part of us, then we won't be safe. We won't be loved. We won't belong, and we won't be enough for sure. And all of these masks are all the things that we're not. All the things that really are not us. They're congealed thought forms that as we feed them, they take on a life of their own. People think that an entity is attached to them. Well, guess what? It's true. But that entity is your own thinking. Our own thinking, we breathe so much life into our own thoughts and thinking that they become real thought forms, and they congeal and they like get glommed on us. And so the first aspect of unbecoming is to see who you've become. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Anna. Hello, everybody. Facebook world, Instagram world, YouTube world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the first aspect of what happens on a weekly basis at Rythmia is you begin to see this fundamental lie that you've been telling yourself about yourself, that if I don't project this image, I won't be safe, I won't belong, and I won't be loved. This is what I need to do to fit in. This is what I need to do. And it's so deeply ingrained. It's deeply ingrained because as kids, we learn something. For example, when you're a kid, you touch the stove once. I bet every one of us touched the stove once. And then we never touched the stove again intentionally, right? That what happened was a neural pathway was developed that said, "Woo, don't do that. You're not safe if you touch that stove." Right? Very strong neural pathway. The same thing happens with our ego. We learn, ooh, I did something and it made me feel unsafe. I did something and I didn't belong. I did something and I was ostracized or made fun of. I did something, and it's really simple. It happens as a little kid and we go, ooh, don't do that. That's bad. That's bad. That's not safe. That's not loving. I'm not enough if I do that. And that neural pathway gets locked in. And then we're an adult. We're not even aware that we've just been walking this pathway like a well-worn path in the forest. And the brain just goes down that way. We're not even aware of it. We keep trying to change things in our lives, but it's not changing because we've got this deeply entrenched neural pathway. And so we have to see what that is. The first way to change that is to see it. And when we see it, it transforms. It begins to transmute. And we can transcend it and then transform it. The second piece of that, of seeing it, is what we call a soul merger. That you merge back together with your soul, because that is a fundamental split. I'm perfect, whole, and complete. And then something happens. I go, oh, I'm not perfect, whole, and complete. When I did that, when I made that statement, when this happened to me, this is the part that I don't ever want to show the world. This is the part that I can show the world, my mask. So we have to, once we see what that mask is, we come back to a state of wholeness. It's an automatic thing. Once we are whole, merged back, once we erase the illusion of separation, we come back to a state of wholeness. And from that place, we can heal, because the consciousness that heals is the consciousness that sees wholeness all the time, no matter what. Right on, Joe. Man, I'm so honored you're here, brother. Joseph Aragazi is a phenomenal master practitioner, and I'm honored that you're here, man. Thank you so much. So we can heal ourselves. And the key to healing is forgiving. The Course in Miracles says the only lack we need to correct is a sense of separation. And the way that we can heal that sense of separation is through the advanced technology of forgiveness. And all forgiveness is self-forgiveness, forgiving ourselves for that fundamental keystone lie that we told ourselves. So this is what happens every week at Rythmia, and this is what happens in practitioner sessions, and this is what happens when you do the work of unbecoming all the things that you're not. So that also flows really nicely into our topic of the day, which is best case scenario. One of the things that I mentioned is one of my spiritual practices is to see my practitioner, right? We all have to have someone that we can go to that knows the truth for and about us when we can't see it for ourselves. So I'm a practitioner. Joseph Aragazi is a practitioner, and people come to see us as spiritual psychologists, so that we use all the fundamental tools and training of psychology with the backing of spiritual principle. And the cool thing is that spiritual principle is now backed up by quantum physics. So it's no longer like, woo, that sounds really good, but it's a little out there. No. Physics is proving that to us. I love Joe Dispenza's statement that science is the new language of mysticism. Quantum physics is the new language of mysticism. It's the new language of metaphysics, because we have something that helps our mind get around the spiritual principle of the emotional body, what we've always known and felt to be true, but couldn't necessarily prove. So on to our topic for the day, best case scenario. So, I notice in myself that I say things to myself about myself unconsciously all the time. If I got a pain in my shoulder, or I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling sad, or something happened and it makes me feel like I'm not part of the flow of life, I'm missing out, I say those things to myself. I am sad. I am not a part of life. I am sick. I am hurting, right? Now, we don't want to bypass and just say, everything's fine, even though something's not. We want to acknowledge. The first step is acknowledging, right? We can bring our awareness to it. Awareness is the key. Our fundamental first step is our awareness. So I want to share with you a session that I had with a client today. It was a really powerful session. He came to me with a physical ailment. He said, I got this thing in my shoulder. I got a thing in my Achilles tendon, and my sinuses are messed up, and my hips are locked. And his intention for our session, we always set an intention before you set an intention with anything. Hey, Diego, the intention was radiant health, vibrant, radiant health and wholeness. Okay, so how are we in a metaphysical, spiritual psychology practitioner session going to heal the body? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. I am not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. I'm a metaphysician. I'm a real metaphysician. And so the first thing we talked about was some of the things that we can do physically I'm getting to the best case scenario. Some of the things we can do physically to heal the body, right? Now, yes, you want to see your doctor. You want to see your chiropractor. You want to see your acupuncturist. You want to use those modalities. And then there's some things that we know we can do. If it's a joint issue, we want to take collagen. We want to take systemic enzymes that will decrease inflammation. We want to make sure that we're hydrating. We want to make sure we're having an alkaline diet and starting with proper hydration and electrolytes, like really, really hydrating the body. Most of us are terribly dehydrated. And getting plenty of green, leafy greens, rich, dense foods that are healthy for the body. That's the first step, right? Hydration and diet and nutrition. And then movement. We want to be moving our body. All sorts of movement are important. So first, there were 3 pillars that I talked to him about. First was the body. Second was the mind. And the third was the metaphysical quantum physics aspect of how we heal on a quantum level. Now, regular medicine works on a Newtonian level where it's cause and effect. I've got this pain. You go see somebody, adjust your shoulder, then you give a pill that takes care of the pain or decreases the inflammation. So this is the effect, and I'm going to give you something that's going to cause something else to happen, cause and effect. But we're not dealing with the root cause, right? We're dealing with hi everybody, welcome coming in. So the first pillar I talked to him about was 1, diet, nutrition, hydration, supplementation, right? We want to take supplements that are addressing the issues that we're dealing with, herbs, all these remedies, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for everything. And if I get in a car accident, take me to a trauma unit. Absolutely. There are certain things we want to use Western medicine for and use it as a component. But we want to approach it in a holistic manner. So there's the body, the physical body. And then the movement is so important. Kundalini yoga, all sorts of yoga are great. Kundalini yoga, I believe, has a particular aspect of animating the prana in the body, the life force in the body. And we must work with our life force. This is what it means to me to know that there's something in you, something in me that is absolutely perfect already. Now, I'm not denying that there's something in the shoulder, there's something in the leg, there's something in the hips. Not denying that there might be an illness or a disease in the body. And at the center of your being, at the center of every atom of your being is a perfection. At the center of every atom is a nucleus, and the nucleus and the protons and the electrons are arrayed perfectly. They couldn't be any other way. So there is a perfection at the center of your being. There is a perfection at the center of your being because there is prana, life. Life itself is in your body. And if there wasn't life in your body, medicine, psychology, metaphysics, prayer couldn't do anything because none of those things can create life. And you and me, we have life in us already. So it's already there. This is what it means to have the faith of a mustard seed. Mustard seed is the smallest seed, right? And can grow to be 40 feet tall. That's a pretty big plant out of a little seed. So the seed of consciousness, the seed of perfection is implanted within each one. Every single person, every single being on the planet has that seed of perfection. And it's up to us to nurture the garden of our consciousness so that this awareness, this consciousness, this seed of perfection grows. And it is the growth and the nurturing and the amplification of that perfection that's already within us that is the healing of the physical body. This is how we get radical healing outside of traditional Newtonian allopathic medicine. Okay? So then we want to be working the pillar of the body, and the pillar of the body is we want to be working not only with supplementation and diet and nutrition and hydration, but also with movement, moving the body in gymnastics, calisthenics, yoga, specifically, I believe Kundalini yoga that moves specific things that are working with the life force itself and directing that prana energy to specific areas in the body. Tai Chi, Qigong, all of these modalities are working with energy in the body. Reiki. Right? We're moving the energy in the body. So that's another piece. Breath work, very important modality that heals the physical body and the mental and spiritual and emotional bodies. So So there's the recommendation. First, you have a physical illness, start with hydration, start with nutrition, start with supplementation, start with doing breath work, start with doing yoga, start bringing your body into alignment, working with the life force within you so that you're healing on that level. Now, the next piece is the mind. The mind, as Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith reminds us, is a set of programs. In fact, this is the matrix. Right? This is the illusion of the matrix that we are living and moving in. And so this set of programs tells us that, 60-year-olds do this. And this is what happens when you're sick. And this is how long, there's a flu season. And there's a thing called COVID. And there's these ways of thinking that are these sets of programs that this is what happens. I get sick. My body, ages, and it's hard for me to move, and I can't do this and I can't do that. We start arguing for our limitations. Here's the thing. The words that we say to ourselves about ourselves create our self-image, and our self-image creates our reality, and it governs and limits us. Listen, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. No one ever won a race by starting out going, there's no way I'm going to win this race. Ever. I just can't do it. Everybody's better than me. There's no way I can beat that guy. No one ever won anything by thinking that. You have to have the positive mindset, right? And everybody goes, that's such a cliche. Think positive. Guess what? Cliches are true. That's the thing. Why do you think they're cliches? They're true. That's the truth. If you point a finger at yourself, if you point a finger at someone, you got 3 pointing back. True. You can't love anybody until you love yourself, or you can never be loved until you love yourself. True. Nobody ever succeeded by thinking negatively. True. So we must begin to reprogram our minds, because the truth is that you are not your thoughts. You are not your beliefs. They are the content of your infinite consciousness, but they're not you. They're programs that have been installed, and many of them are errant programs that need to be deleted. So we begin to work with the mind, with our mantras, with our positive affirmations, with our affirmative prayer. We start to work with the mind, because the mind is this really powerful thing. It's a really powerful servant. But, Einstein said that the mind is a faithful servant, and the heart is an intuitive gift. And we've created a society that honors the servant and forgot the gift. So we have to work with the mind so we can get back in the heart. We have to, it's like, this is like the guard outside. This is like the bodyguard outside the club you want to get into, and that's the beating heart inside. Ring my bell. Okay, that's the club, right? You want to get in that club, but the mind's like, oh no, you can't come in. You can't come in. Positive thinking, you're staying out. You're staying out. So you have to overwhelm the mind, shock and awe the mind with a torrent of mantras and affirmations, because what you say to yourself about yourself is your reality. It is your reality, and we create this reality. Yes, self-talk. If you believe you're unable to do something, you are. If you believe you're old, you are. If you believe that you can't do it, you're right. So this is an important piece. We have to purge. We have to get it out. We have to get all this stuff out of us, all this stuff that's not us. We have to get it out. How do we do that? There's a little process I'm going to share with you that a good friend of mine shared with me, another practitioner, my good brother, Josh Darnell. And he told me one day, you got to purge, bro. Now, in ceremony here at Rythmia, we purge. That's what the purge is. You drink the medicine and it goes, anything unlike you, anything unlike the perfect perfection of who you are and the high vibration of the medicine, you purge it out. Well, let's say you're not at an ayahuasca ceremony and you can still purge. You can still purge. And I don't mean physically throw up. I mean, you're spiritually throwing up. You're spiritually releasing all this stuff. I want you to do this. So I want you to set an intention. So if there's stuff that you've been saying about yourself, like, I just can't do it. I just can't, like, I can't write that book. I've been meaning to do this thing, and I just never have the time. I'm too busy. How does anybody do it? I have kids, I have work, and I can't meditate. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to, do any of that stuff. That's like saying I don't have time to put gas in my car, right? Like, if your car's just going to run out of gas, you got to stop. If you were in a race and you had a finely tuned race car, you have to have a pit stop. You have to change the tires and tune stuff up so you can keep the thing going, right? So you can't tell me that you don't have time, because if you don't have time, eventually you're going to hit the wall, and then your body will make you have the time. Suddenly you'll have time. Suddenly, but you don't want to get to that point. So, okay. So come back, JJ, come back. Here we are. So this we've got to take the time to work with our minds and shift the way what we're saying to ourselves about ourselves. And take the time to purge. That's where we were. Thank you. We got to purge this stuff out. Bring your awareness. Just start first by bringing your awareness to what you say to yourself about yourself. All the ways you argue, and I argue for my limitations, that I can't do that. I've never been able to do that. It happens for everybody else, but it doesn't happen for me. Everybody else can do it, but I can't. They're getting ahead, but not me. Not me. That's just not, I must not be good enough. We really say that stuff to ourselves. Watch, listen, become aware. It's a broadcast that we generally are saying to ourselves. I'm just not very quick. I'm just not sharp like that. They're sharper than I am. It's usually, you see it in comparison. They're just lucky. They're just lucky, and I'm not. So you begin to watch and then get tuned into the stories that you're telling yourself. Most of the stories that we tell ourselves are stories about what happened to us. Something's happening to us. That these are the things that are important to start to bring our awareness to. Where are you telling yourself a story about something that happened to you that's out of your control? Well, they said that to me. They did this to me. This happened because of society. This happened because of my family. This happened because of my genetics. This happened because of my lineage. This happened, I don't have this because of the work, my boss, right? Now, I'm not saying that stuff isn't true, that somebody did something to you, but, and we have to step into the basic realization, the true fundamental realization that life is for us. Life is for us and can't be against us, because life is for itself. Life always wants more life. And as Brother Ishmael Teta reminded us at Agape, as Reverend Michael reminds us on a regular basis, that life cannot contradict itself. Life cannot go against itself. Life must be consistent with itself. That's a principle of life. It operates according to principles, and the principle is it's for itself. Life is for more life. And guess what? You are life. I am life. You are life. We are life itself. Life is in us, and life is therefore for us. Fundamentally good. Fundamentally, why? How is it fundamentally good? It's fundamentally good because there is only good. There might be the duality of good and bad in this realm, but we know, and I've said it before, that quantum physics teaches us there is hot and there is cold, but hot and cold are just an expression of more or less heat, because no matter how cold it gets on the atomic level, there's a filament of heat moving. If that filament of heat is moving at minus 500 degrees Celsius, then there's heat. Therefore, cold is just an expression of less heat. Dark is just an expression of less light. Evil is just an expression of less good. Yes, there's evil on the planet, and there's also good, even in the evil. Even in the evil. Yin Yang is telling us that. There's a seed of the opposite in the thing, in the duality. That's the symbol of the oneness. And so life is good, fundamentally. Can't be otherwise. And if you're experiencing an expression of less good, then we have to work with our mind, purge out the stuff that we're telling ourselves, so that we can raise ourselves up on the octave of life, on the spectrum of our being, and move up into the upper reaches of our beingness, to experience more good, more love, more light, more beauty, more intelligence, more creativity, more oneness, more beauty, more joy, more abundance, more prosperity. Where do we want to vibrate on the spectrum, on the octaves of our being? So we must purge out all of the shit. So this is how you do it. You go out into the woods, you go out into the park, you go to your home and get a bucket of water or a basin, fill your sink with water or your tub with water, so that when you are ready to scream, you put your face in the water. If you can't go to a place where you can scream and not be heard, you scream into the water. I want you to go to a place, either in your home or out in nature, where you can set an intention that I'm willing to release anything that is keeping me from being free. Start with that intention, because those stories, those limited stories, those limited beliefs are the things that are keeping us from being free. I'm willing. You set the intention. All you have to do is set the intention for willingness. Then it's like, game on, spirit. Here we go. And I want you to talk to God. You're talking to yourself. That's right. You're going to look like a crazy person. You're going to look like one of those people going, yeah, well, right? I want you to do that. All those stories that, like, those conversations that you have in your head with that person you're arguing with, but you never say those things to them. I want you to have that conversation. And it's okay to say, F you, God, because you don't have to worry about what you're saying to God, because God already knows what you're thinking. Because God is you. You are God. One and the same. God in the flesh, God in drag. That's us. Believe it, believe it, believe it. That's true. So you set the intention. I'm willing to release anything that's keeping me from being free. Then you go at it. And I want you to just purge it all out. And then this happened. Are you fucking kidding me? Again? I can't believe that shit happened again. Why me? Why is it always happening to me? I want you to just purge it out. Get it out. Rah! And then when you're ready to, like, ah! Scream it. Scream it out. Get it out until you are empty. Let it all go. And once you're empty, you move into step 3, the best case scenario. That's where you can then begin to fill yourself back up with potential and possibility. And I want you to, then you start to reverse all of those negative stories. And if it's a body issue, you got to feel it as though it's happening right now. You got to be saying, my body is young and flexible and flow. I move and flow with ease and grace. I love waking up in the morning and feeling like I'm ready to take on the world. So rested, so rejuvenated. My body's a miraculous, finely tuned machine. You start to tell yourselves those stories. I wake up in the morning and I'm happy, and I go and I get my tea or my coffee, and then I do my morning practice, and it just enlivens me. I do it not because I'm checking off a thing on a checkbox, a list of to-dos. No, I do it because it makes me feel good. I just love the way I feel. I'm just called to it. I love it. And then I just love it also because I have somebody at my house that just, prepares all my food and kind of keeps me on track. It's like my personal chef and assistant. They're just perfect. They just know exactly what I need. So that's fabulous, because I get up and I have my beautiful breakfast prepared, and then I go to my office and I just love what I do because I have this beautiful view, and it's such a peaceful place where I work, and I'm just so creative there. I want you to start creating these best case scenarios. And everybody that I meet, oh my goodness, everybody I meet is my friend. I just feel like I know everybody, even though I don't. I feel like I know everybody. And before I even ask, people show up to help me. Oh my God, it's so amazing when people, they just show up out of the blue. I was thinking, like, I really could use some help. Boom, there's someone right there for me. It's amazing. I'm so connected. I'm so connected with life that life shows up and gives me what's needed before I even ask for it. It's such a good life. I love it. And my community supports me and I support them. And I'm just like so abundant. I can afford anything I desire. I'm so prosperous. I need never worry again because I feel so full of love and full of life, and life just keeps showing more love and more life back to me. I'm in such joy, and joy is my natural state. Oh boy, am I happy. I'm so healthy. I'm so joyful. I'm so good. I just love it. I'm so confident. I'm such a confident person. I love the way that I move in the world. And it's not a confidence that puts down anybody or needs to be superior to anybody or inferior to anybody. It's just a deep knowing of confidence in myself. And it gets reflected back to me because I encounter such beautiful people. Are you following me on the best case scenario? So you got to empty yourself first. You got to purge out all of that shit that's not you, all of those programs that are your mind, and then you start reprogramming the mind with best case scenarios, with affirmations, with mantras, with things that really resonate with you, So this was my dear friend, Reverend Cheryl Ward, and I was with her in session yesterday, and she reminded me of the best case scenario. So I want to just thank Reverend Cheryl Ward. So this is how we begin to reprogram the mind, and then you stay aware. You stay aware, on alert, so that when those old programs come back, because they'll come back, you start comparing yourself, you see this thing going up, and oh man, I'll never be able to afford a house. It's too expensive in LA. Don't tell yourself that. I find the perfect home. I'm the perfect buyer with the perfect seller and the perfect home. And Spirit's never late. Spirit's always on time. So I don't even have to worry about when it's going to happen. I just know it. I feel it now. Oh man, I'm seeing that house. I'm seeing that house. I'm seeing that beautiful piece of property with that great view. I'm feeling it now. You got to feel it. The universe doesn't hear us. The universe feels us. So you got to feel it with this best case scenario. And it's got to be in the present tense, not like it's going to happen. It's happening now. And then you keep it up with your mantras and with your affirmations. You just catch the negative thought and you create the exact opposite. If the negative thought is I can't, it's like I am so capable. I'm so capable. I amaze myself at how capable I am. I accomplish more than I could have ever imagined that I would. Because if you walk around thinking that your life is too busy, that you have too much stress and that it's impossible, then that's the truth. But if you catch yourself thinking, I'm too stressed out, it's impossible, I'll never be able to do spiritual practice, I want you to start thinking of being like, oh my God, I live a stress-free life. My life is perfect and in flow, always. Perfect and in flow, always. So, I think this is it. I'm looking at the time. We're at 30 minutes. That's a long Facebook Live. So, pillar one, we start with the body. We start with our practice. We start with our physical practice, hydration, nutrition, moving our body, Kundalini yoga, starting to move the body and the energy in the body. We work with different modalities. Then we purge. We work with the mind. I didn't get to the third pillar today, which is the quantum physics part of how all this actually works, where you can heal yourself in the field and it heals in the form because consciousness precedes form. Maybe that's another talk. So I'm so grateful and so thankful. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you for your presence. And let's just take a moment right here and right now in prayer and just say, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the teachings that lift us up. I'll tell you what, my morning started out not so uplifting. Not so uplifting. It wasn't that I didn't get out of bed going, oh, I'm so happy to be alive. But I used the principles and I connected with people and something shifted in me. And it's a good day. It's a good day. So I'm so grateful for the practices. I'm so grateful. I did my Kundalini yoga this morning. I did my meditation, even though I didn't want to. I did my journaling, even though I didn't have the time. I fit it in. And I'm so grateful because these practices buoy me. These practices buoy you. I'm so grateful for the practices. I'm so grateful for the teachers that taught us these practices. And I'm so grateful for the teachings that have been brought down through the ages. I'm so grateful for the intelligence that's in back of it all. This great intelligence, it's this infinite mind. It is my mind. It is your mind. It is the only mind. And we are one with it. We can't be separate from it. It's impossible. It's the very nature of our being. We couldn't exist without it. We are it in the flesh. We are it taken form. We are consciousness in form. We are informed by consciousness. The very form of consciousness itself made manifest. So I know in this oneness for each one, there's a deep realization right now. There's a knower within you that knows that it's impossible for you to be separate from life and that life is for you, that life is working for you tirelessly, for the lavish abundance of the universe is supporting you in every way. And I'm not just talking about material abundance. I'm talking about abundance of peace, an abundance of joy, an abundance of health, an abundance of vitality, an abundance of creativity, an abundance of excellence, an abundance of connection, an abundance of community, an abundance of brothers and sisters and parents and children just all around you, an abundance of all needs met, every need met, all of your spiritual needs, all of your mental needs, all of your emotional needs, all of your physical needs, all of your material needs met, an abundance of it all. And I know that that's the nature of life, for life is something that takes out of itself and creates more of itself without ever depleting itself, so that I know that the truth of your nature and the truth of my nature is absolute abundance of all manner. Health, peace, joy, creativity, excellence, connection. And so this truth feels so good right now. This truth feels so good. It resonates so much with me right now. I'm so aligned with it right now that I know you are aligned with it. As we come into alignment, the law starts to work for us. The law can't work unless we're aligned with it. We say yes right now. Just say, yes, I'm aligned with it. Yes, I'm willing to be aligned with this law. I'm willing to be in the flow of life. Yes, I'm willing to let the flow of life take me over, to just use me. Use me till you use me up. Okay. All right. So I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to be used by the flow of life, to be of service to this flow as it brings so much peace and joy and wonderful things happening in my life and your life and the life of others. We celebrate it. We give thanks for it. It feels so good right now. It's so resonant. We're so aligned with it that we know it's true. Right now, we know it's true. When we know it's true, we know that it's so. We know that it's already done. It's already so. We know it's true. True is always true. True's never not true. True's only true. So it's already so. And so we can say now, and so it is. And so it is. It is so. And so it is. Amen. Hallelujah. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Deborah says, I'm totally grateful. Woo, I'm totally grateful too. I'm so grateful. Thank you all. Look at all these comments, you guys. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Peace and richest blessings. Joe, woo, I love you, man. Thank you for hanging. Thank you so much. Thank you all for hanging. Have a beautiful day. Richest blessings all. I'm signing out.